Hey, welcome to Weird and Woo Woo. I'm weird and we all get a little woo woo, okay? We're doing a coffee and tarot. Checking in. Now, I tried to lower the camera. I know, part of me's cut off. I'm not the important part. The cards are. And I know that you all like to see the cards. I get my ash and everything else right there. So, to try and give you a full view of what I get to see, now it's going to be a little backwards. I get it. Whatever. If this doesn't go over well, oh well. We'll do it differently next time, okay? All right, I've got my coffee. So, premise of coffee and tarot. We're coming and having a sit down with spirit. Spirit's got some stuff they want to talk about with us. There is no preconceived notions, intentions, or parameters or time frames that we're putting around this. We are literally going to sit down and listen to spirit. Now, we can engage, we can ask questions. However, spirit gets to take command. So I have noticed of late that sometimes spirit's like, I'm on a trajectory. Ask your question all you want. I'm going to ignore it and go on. And so they're leading the way. They're leading the way. Okay. That's how this is going to work. Yeah, go ahead and get your cup. Get you a tea, lemon water, coffee, whatever it is that you want. And settle in. Okay. Just to give you my spiel, you are a sovereign being over your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. My recommendation is to never Cinderella anything to make it fit. Okay? Yay. I don't know where we're going to go with this. It does feel a bit of a more, okay, I wanted to say a slower pace, and they're like a metered pace, meaning that there's a bit more of a coziness to the energy. I get a sense of taking something in, like kind of taking, like sitting with something, kind of munching on something, munching as in like trying to digest something, or, like processing something, just sitting with it, just sitting with it. Okay, that's the energy that we're in right now. All right. Can I just say that some days I'm amazeballs at making my coffee. I'm amazing. I wish I could say I'm a coffee connoisseur. I have a little plaque, and I'm gonna put it back up. I used to have it up. I know. Well, let's just do a little, but it's got to be closer because this is where the microphone is on this side. Um, and it stops the. I used to have it up here, and it had like a kind of thing to it, reverb. I don't. And the settings are set correctly. But I don't have like a software that does all that because I ain't going there. Um, ooh, we might have some tangents and stuff like that coming up, or side quests or whatever you want to call them, detours. Oh yeah, my coffee. I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I have a little plaque. I was like, where was I at? You might be a little like in the brain. That might be why you're kind of like, let me just sit down and, you know what I mean? And it says, I thought I liked coffee. Turns out I like creamer. And I like the coffee bean. I like to eat the coffee bean. I like chocolate coffee, covered coffee beans. I like all kinds of stuff. I love the smell. But when I just do straight up black coffee, I cannot do the whole cup. I cannot do it. Now, the flavor of the coffee does matter. I like a little punch with whatever I put in with it, but I'm just saying. Anyways, if you ever have coffee with me, I get a little fancy. I do all kinds of concoctions. And I'm good. So, anyways, just tooting my own horn really quick. Hmm. Looks like we're starting with the Night Sun Tarot. This deck looks like this, like with these kind of pictures. So, Night Sun Tarot. Y'all. I heard come correct or not at all. I think because I usually Like, if it doesn't fall out correct, then I don't take it, kind of thing. God knows I don't take a book to interpret. So I'm not sponsored. Like, I see people do that. I'm like, surely nobody thinks that this company is like, like these things are gonna show up, right? And people like, you know how long I've had this sweatshirt? Oh, we're just gonna be chatty today. Okay, we're just gonna be chatty. I've had this sweatshirt for like 14, 15 years. What? Ish. More like 13, 14. Well, it was in there. I grabbed it. In a day now. That was a really long introduction. Ace of Pentacles. We're looking at all the roots. Something's taking root. Something has taken root, which is the reason why you're now seeing something. Something has taken root. King of Cups. They're showing me like familiars or animal totems. They mean something to me, but I feel like they might mean something else to the reading, like a white owl, a white baby fox. They're showing me a bird. A yellow bird is significant, and I'm seeing this has got to be just like for people. I'm a bird person. I'm a bird person. It's like a red cardinal and an orange cardinal together. Orange cardinals are we got yellow, orange, red. We're talking lower chakras here. That's giving a sense of like something in alignment. We have the King of Cups. King of Cups is the master over his emotions and his intuition. Some kind of master has happened, which I think indicates a sense of like being in tune with something then. There's a high level of discernment. It's as if something doesn't control you, but you wield it. That might have something to do with something taking root. Justice. Justice is the overall energy for this reading. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. You had to be in the right place emotionally and intuitively in order for not for it to take root, but for it to start blossoming, for something to show up in your reality. Taking root takes a bit of a time. And I think that during the process of learning how to be the master of those things, of your emotions, your energy, your life force, your intuition, like your spiritual gifts, is the only reason something like that happened while something was taking root. And it's the only reason something can begin in your reality. So the Ace of Pentacles is always like that seed, but it's the evidence of that seed. Like blossoming in your life. So it's the beginning of it. It's when it breaks ground. And it's like that would not be able to break ground if you were not in this energy, the King of Cups energy. And I think that's because something's going to take a great amount of strength for you. like having that mastery. That's what I'm thinking when I look. This is the strength card. Kind of like taming that inner beast, that thing that wants to kind of consume you. Um, that is necessary for the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is the energy of whether to invest or not invest. It is past actions, present moment, and future endeavors, correct? So, because usually in Rider Waite, you're looking at like the pinnacles beneath the feet, past works, the pinnacle that she's holding, the present moment, the present reality, and the pinnacle over her head, you know, as in future paths, endeavors, potentialities, the things that you want to invest in. There's a discernment of knowing when to. These two are the same energies. King of Cups and the Four of Pentacles, knowing when to invest in something, when to pour energy into something, knowing the right alchemical percentage of effort, energy that you put into something, whether to hold back, because this is the investment card in the Minor Arcana. It's like knowing when, where, how, to what degree to put effort into something. But the fours are about, there's something about a foundation that is set, that kind of like sets the stage. Because what it feels like is like, there's the past and the present. Something has set the stage for something. And then now, either something that you've known, they're showing me the pentacle over the crown. Something that you've known, a path you've known that you would eventually venture down. Um, there's just something about being ready for it. So both of these are mirroring each other. There's balance, there's mastery, there's discernment on whether to invest or not, how much, all that kind of stuff with both of these. Because yeah, both of these. And there's a mastery over one's one feels more like where desire and life force can kind of take over, and the other one is where emotions can take over. But they're both similar in needing to maintain some semblance of mastery over that, and it not having influence over you. I'm saying, something has worked out for a new beginning. Things are just right. Things are in perfect alignment for this to come to fruition. It's it's weird that they have the same exact thing on both sides. Tell me about the Ace of Pentacles and the King of... High Priestess. Death. Magician. Knight of Swords. It's kind of like having everything at your disposal. You couldn't have everything at your disposal, Magician card, until you knew exactly what to do with all the elements, that you would do something with it. That's what I'm getting. Magician card is kind of like, eh, what use is it to have everything at your disposal, everything that you need, if you do nothing with it? Does that make sense? So it's kind of like something is just now coming into your life, Ace of Pentacles, because there's you know what to do with something. King of Cups. King of Cups. So something moves from being a knowing, an understanding, like something prophetic, or yeah, I'll just leave it at that. High Priestess, because the book is open. It's known, but it's not in reality yet. So it's like the idea of it, and it being just a concept, an idea, a potentiality, is now coming to an end. And the rebirth process is it's coming into your reality. It is manifesting because you know what to do with it. It is bringing, and that you will do something with it. It is bringing massive change. Knight of Swords is when you're ready to utterly cut ties with something and make a permanent pivot. These are irrevocable changes that happen with the Knight of Swords. These are irrevocable path changes, direction changes, pivots. Tell me about the Four of Pentacles and the Strength card. Hanged Man. Two of Wands. Ace of Swords. All that was needed to be done within your reality, because the Four of Pentacles is about this particular reality. Everything in the past, the pinnacle below the feet, and the pinnacle that's on the lap. It's not in this particular one. They keep showing me Rider Waite. That's what was necessary to set the foundation for what you knew you needed to do. So you've done everything within your reality that was necessary to create the foundation for this to start. So that was the setting up of the roots. That puts you in a good position in order to be able to actuate. I don't know why they're giving it to me like that. That idea, that potentiality, that proverbial path that was just a particular notion or a potentiality. You have done everything to set up a solid foundation for this to come through positively. So to make the possibility a reality. Two of Wands is, and there was a pause, which also matches the Four of Pentacles, right? The kind of like that hesitancy that can show up with that, a sense of stubbornness. Something about whatever past efforts and current efforts that you're doing were necessary so that you would have the right mindset and perception and understanding and lens, paradigm, if you will, in order to take the appropriate actions. You kind of needed to be in the right mindset and looking at something correctly, seeing it clearly in order to be able to take the action that's necessary. Two of Wands, the correct steps. And if you notice on this Two of Wands, on the back of her is the head of the lion that's on the Strength card. So she's capable of following through on those actions. Ace of Swords. It's a level of clarity that cannot be fucked with, is what I'm getting. So the Crown of Thorns is kind of like almost like a protection. Like nothing can interject to cloud up your understanding and knowing of something. You see something very clearly. You can articulate it clearly. You know how to maintain a clear mind while taking these steps. So again, that little monster within that wants to kind of say things and fill you full of things and like wants to rear its ugly head sometimes, you've managed to befriend it or keep it at bay. Tell me more about the Ace of Swords, though. I feel something else there. Son of a biscuit eater. Well, your focus is correct. So there's something about that seeing things differently that will keep. It's almost like having all the information is what it feels like to me. Maybe not all, but all the information for you to understand what the truth is, at least, so that you're not entering or beginning a path or taking actions on a path from false illusions. Okay. You've done all the necessary work. These three cups, you're not staring at them. You're not hemming and hawing over them. They're not even still on the ground. You picked them up one by one, placed them back up on that shelf, turned around, picked up the two cups, and you're like, okay, I'm ready. You're done with the Five of Cups energy. You're done trying to figure out, understand, entertain what all the things that have gone wrong. And you're also done with projecting that onto anything in the future. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but you're ready. You're ready. Six of Swords. You're ready. What I like is that someone's thoughts, the Six Swords, are not piercing the barrels of water. So the water is your intuition, your understanding, um, your emotions, right? So in traditional Rider-Waite, the swords are piercing the boat and could be the thing that sinks everything. But these are strategically placed, and the water containers are perfectly safe. Because the water containers, your intuition, your knowing, your hunch, your instinct, is what is necessary for this venture. And your wisdom is going to be appropriately applied. All these swords appropriately applied for the venture that you're going down, but in no way, shape is it competing with or trying to outweigh your intuition. I was trying to think of a fucking... Okay, so that being said, now things are in balance exactly where they need to be. Three of Swords. It's like seeing the correct source of your, like identifying the illusion, identifying the false narrative that your mind may have been plaguing, because there's only one sword. There's two truths, two things that are true, but one sword facing down. That's either something unknown, unspoken, or a lie. Something that was not seen clearly. And that's the thing that was creating some sense of pain within your heart. If I see the Six of Swords the way that I am right now, this has been resolved. You've identified the thought, the illusion, the belief that was creating the amount of sorrow within you, that was creating the emotional turmoil. And there is very fast forward movement as a result. I am getting a sense of, I know there's only two people here, but with three swords, these two people, right, are holding a sword. Those are upright. Those swords are upright. Those swords are a clear understanding, truth. Somebody else must have wielded this sword previously. It feels like there may have been a third energy, and that is something that is being released or is seen clearly for what they are or who they are, or how, like, you believed something false about someone else. And they may have played a factor in this illusion, this lie, this whatever you want to call it, that was creating turmoil within you. They may have been feeding it. There is exceptionally fast forward movement. There is no hem and haw. There's no more delay. There's no more restraint. We have the Knight of Wands. This is very fast moving energy. To the Empress, because something, ooh, there's more. Oh. So there's a Six of Cups, or not six, shit, fire, sorry. Eight of Cups. I don't know why I said six, guys. With the Empress. In acknowledging and seeing something for what it really is, the lie, in regaining, I want to say, your sense of stability and ability to wield your emotions, your intuition, instead of being consumed and controlled by those things. In doing such, that happened as you walked away from towards this Empress energy, which is an exceptionally abundant future, one by which has already begun. The egg is broken. So it's as if whatever has been occurring to prime you and get you in the right alignment for something, the right, perfect state of existence for something to happen, to come into your reality. This egg that you are now ready for is cracked open the moment you walk away from or run away from something very painful, something that caused anguish for you. Again, leaving behind, again, the scales again. Like the only real way to maintain that balance is to leave something. And when you do, you move towards your Empress. I was trying to say you move into the Empress energy. Spirit has other. In leaving a situation, you move towards your Empress. And that is what begins something. That is the indication that a beginning has already begun. God, why am I talking like this? Alrighty. And again, that's third sword on the Three of Swords. It could be just the place, like it could be a lie you were telling yourself about a third energy that you were holding to be true. That lie could be the third outside energy impacting all of this. Okay. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is in charge of his reality. He wields what's at his disposal, and he creates. He is in control of his reality. Sun. Six of Pentacles. There's the Six of Cups. With the Six of Pentacles, they're wanting me to focus on this apple. And the story of the apple, now, we're not going to go down the Christian version, modern day Christianity. But if you look at it from the Gnostic narrative, that the apple was offered by the feminine energy, whatever you want to call it. Like, but it was offered, and it was in partaking with the apple, taking a bite, that truth was revealed and paradise then became something they could, that the masculine could enter into. Okay. That's more along the Gnostic. That's what they're showing me. Like there's something about partaking in the forbidden fruit. And this is very like, yes, yes, yes. The sun energy is a yes, yes, like embody this. Yes, do this. Six of Pentacles is the thing that you've been missing. It's finally receiving the thing that you've been missing. But it's also like they're showing me an offering of the fruit being symbolic of like somebody putting something on offer, but you have to go after it. It's like a willingness to partake. Six of Cups. It will bring immense pleasure. I want more on this. I'm going to switch decks really quick. Hermetic Tarot. I almost did Secret Tarot, but I didn't. They're showing me something. They're showing me the story of Persephone and Hades, and you'll hear. So we're seeing like counterparts, and always like the one story like the told story or the false illusion story versus uh the other side of the coin, like with the hanged man getting a different side of that story. And so same with like there's like the traditional Christian, or not traditional, modern day Christianity and their version of Adam and Eve and the apple, all that kind of stuff, versus the Gnostics. But now they're showing me Hades and Persephone. And in some stories, in some versions of this mythology, it's that he came, negotiated, and took her against her will, and that her mother Demeter had to kind of like negotiate. And in some, it's like Hecate does that on her behalf, like um, or like Hecate, like so that she spends 6 months of the year in the underworld with Hades and 6 months of the year, with her mother, like during spring when the earth is alive, and then when she's in the underworld, earth kind of like goes into a slumber. So there's another version of that where it is Hades was never, how do I put this? He never lied to her. It wasn't a situation of she had no choice. She had utter choice. He saw her potential. He saw who she really was. She was treated as a maiden. She's an nymph. She was treated as a maiden, not really given the reverence for her role. And so almost kind of having a workhorse type of energy. Uh, Workhorse maybe too strong. She had a duty, but it was never acknowledged or honored by those around her, including her mother, Demeter. Um, and so Hades saw her worth and is like, you are worth so much more. Join me. You'll be the queen of the underworld. But in doing so, in negotiating that, like he could see that she felt chained and limited and not free. And he knew that she was worth so much more, so he brought her to the underworld. Now, he warned her, in another version, he warned her that if she ate any food from the underworld, that she would not be able to leave. And in some versions, she willingly, she's not tricked. And same with the Gnostic version, willingly took, you know, partook from something. She willingly ate 6 pomegranate seeds because to her, she was finally free. And that if she were to ever, like, she would be utterly, completely free from the role and the treatment that she received on the other side. So, um, and to me, the Hanged Man is kind of talking about that. It's like something can be seen as I am being chained and being told that the only way for me to have freedom is if I do X, Y, and Z. That I'm being forced into this. Like if this is the only way that I can go about, anything, that I'm being sequestered. Like when you have like when you feel like you have a purpose and that life will not be good. Um, and this is your interpretation. Unless you follow that purpose, you can sometimes feel uh, enslaved to it, like you lack choice. But if you looked at your purpose as if it were a way and manner to free you from the limitations and the oppressions of this existence, well, that's a different take. You would probably be more willing to choose it. You would see it as freedom from this existence. rather than being controlled and saying this is the only path you're allowed to take. So there's a sense of, when we talk about with the hanged man, like there's been a change in understanding something. It's like re-seeing something through a different lens, through a different paradigm, like that. And in doing so, it has brought you to the right space. And I dare I say, it has brought you to the place of saying yes to something. Because in both of those stories with the apple, it is of free will and of a conscious mind and of a desire to partake, to take that bite. It is an offer. It is not a demand. It is not a jail sentence. It is not an expectation. It is your choice. And if you've been with this channel long enough, I always tell everybody, I look at surrender in that way. I used to think surrender was waving a white flag and handing your power over and control to something or someone else. When surrender is the antithesis of handing your power over or losing control. In fact, surrender requires you and only you. Like it's the epitome of choice. It's the epitome of control, because nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can make that choice or decision for you. You have to do it willingly and freely. So there's a surrender to something here. And it places you in a state of no longer battling within, with your thoughts, your ego no longer battling your emotions or your intuition. And you're not seeing something as you're being forced to do it. You recognize that it is a choice and you're deciding to do this. You're saying yes to something. So that's a part of, like, you couldn't really say yes until you understood something completely. But while you were getting to that place, roots were setting up. And the moment you said yes, something already began, Ace of Pentacles, to start in your reality, to break ground. Again, the egg is already broken. Okay. Let's go ahead and I love the story of Hades and Persephone. Very close to Persephone. Everything that we just said. We have the devil, which is where you feel chained to something only because of your perception. And then the tower that breaks you free from that. So you have broken free from that, from something that was keeping you limited, a thought pattern, a belief. Hanged man. You see it completely differently. Something being stuck in one perspective and one way of looking at something, the devil card, and being able to achieve that different perception of it, that different paradigm, that different lens at which you view it through, caused a tower moment. They said a quiet tower moment. So you're going from the Queen of Swords, one who is on the defense, who is uncertain, who is quick to draw their sword, to dissect something, to not be open. We have the Queen of Swords with the Knight of Cups. And on the other side of that, the Queen of Cups. Now, if the Knight of Cups comes in with the Queen of Swords versus the Queen of Cups, how do you think that's going to go? But I will say, Queen of Swords has her sword up, much like the Ace of Swords, so there is clarity now. I think that she was once reversed, not seeing something correctly. And so out of defense, it is now upright because of what has occurred. Because look at this. She's holding a... You see that? Off with her! You know, that's what the Queen of Hearts says. And Alice in Wonderland. Off with her head! Again, you wouldn't have seen this, the Knight of Cups in the correct light. But you are open and receptive to something in the energy of the Queen of Cups. That's what happened. It's Queen of Swords versus the Queen of Cups when something approaches. Ace of Wands. Definitely seen as something desirable now. Something that you want to move forward on. So you have said yes. And you're doing it for you. So, okay. I feel like I've gotten... The reason I feel like both sides say the same thing, the Ace of Pentacles with the King of Cups, and then the Four of Pentacles with the Strength card, is because this looks like the two halves to a whole, both going through the exact same thing. One needing to be willing to take action on something, the other willing to receive it. Both having to walk away from something, both having to change the way they see something. Both allowing something to come into reality. And the moment both hit that sweet spot of understanding and seeing something and like the energy where the mind and the heart no longer fought and they both surrendered was the minute that something began. Because both said yes. I'm so sorry. Both said yes. One with the apple, taking it and biting it. The other with the pomegranate seeds. There's a level of like a state of allowance and acceptance and surrender. Because they both see it differently now. And that's why we have the Six of Cups. It's like with the the High Priestess, it's a predetermined connection that is meant to come together. And I am really strongly being guided to not use terms like the twin flame stuff. There's plenty of people that engage in those. This dynamic has there's nothing. These two have zero history. But they're both almost acting out very like they're both acting out a popular connection trope, like connection, soul contract. Because if you think of Adam and Eve, they were created for each other. If you think of Hades and Persephone, that dynamic is kind of, you know, um, and Hades and Persephone were known to have an immense um, love, like transcends this existence, right? So there is a predetermined or pre kind of like soul connection, very ancient, like tapping into the frequency of, let's say, Hades and Persephone type of energy, like living it out for them. I don't know why I want to get sounds like that, but but this isn't your traditional what anybody would deem a soulmate. This is something different. And it's definitely not twin flame. There's none of that dynamic here. So if that's your path, this is not for you. This is something that both resisted. That they saw this connection at first like it was control. This idea of this connection, controlled by the universe. But they're now seeing it as a gift. It reminds me of the TV show Lucifer, where when he realizes that somebody was created specifically for him, that he saw it as a ploy on his dad's part to take away his free will and his like a trap almost. But it was in that relationship, and it took him time to discover that it was a gift, that within it was freedom from what, and that this reality was the real trap. Or was the real limiting factor. I won't say trap, but it's really this reality, this existence that feels that way. Gosh, why do I gotta always do such long readings? Somebody may have felt like all the things that had been going wrong were due to like some kind of trickster spirit or energy. We did have a talk about a trickster spirit or energy in a different reading. Because we have the Five of Cups, which is things just going wrong, and like seeing things constantly go wrong, and like focusing on that, and why isn't it. And the Seven of Swords, this sense of like, am I being lied to, or am I being manipulated, or what's going on? And it's that whatever you were engaged in before was not in alignment with, again, and we had the Three of Swords. I was like, there was something that someone didn't see correctly. And I do feel like there might have been like a third energy, at least on the masculine's part, where that third energy fed into them some form of illusion or lie, that kept in a perpetual state of like a sense of like something with the heart, like something didn't match, like the mind and the heart were not in alignment. So it just feels as if it's like past relationships, past connections. You may have even felt like spirit is messing with these and messing them up, on purpose. They're messing with things. You know, you blamed everything that went wrong on some kind of trickster or lies and deceits and manipulation and things like that, when in actuality no one and nothing had to do anything to create those negative scenarios because whatever you were involved with, whatever circumstances or situations there were, they were not of the right frequency. It feels like, and it's not this directly, right? It's like a reenactment of a grand love, an ancient grand love. And like being like in this existence, you're meant to live out that ancient grand love story. Like I don't want to use incarnate, but there's it's almost like Hades and Persephone are watching as something unfolds. Two people that were meant to experience this kind of, it's not them reincarnated, you know what I mean? It's two humans that were meant to experience this very spiritual kind of love. It's like two humans living out that trope. I don't know how to explain it, the Hades and Persephone trope. So, um, if either of these individuals felt like there was something toying with and messing with and it's kind of like why is this happening, no one had to intervene and do anything because it was always never going to no, it was those were never meant to work out. Those were never meant to be experienced. They were never the ones that were within like in the same flow of frequency that you are to live this, there's just it just wasn't. um and that might be where somebody got tripped up on like I get a choice and you're taking my choice away and da, 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 and it's like no one had to do anything. Has a very like predestined kind of energy to it, and so life in and of itself was going to work out in a way, in such a way where these two always came together no matter what. And so what's more likely is your spirit team, your, if you have any deities that you work with, the universe took a step back and just let things unfold. So if you ever felt like you were abandoned by spirit, or like they weren't there, or like you couldn't access them and they weren't helping and they weren't intervening, like, and it was all on you, that's more true. They took more of a hands off approach. So there was definitely something over here on the feminine side where she had to walk away from something, something on the masculine side where they had to walk away from something. And again, gender doesn't matter. We're talking about individuals within a particular energy. Um, they've both come to the place of saying yes now. They're both willing to walk this path, not knowing what it's going to look like. We have the Sun and the Six of Cups again. The only one that was ever meant to be victorious, successful, pleasurable, and long-standing is this pre-written, like, always meant to be connection. And now, King of Wands, this is called the Chariot of Fire in this deck. The chariot is nothing can stop it now. Rhino spirit kind of energy. Nothing can stand in its way once these two surrender. It's like nothing can interfere with the King of Wands energy. Nothing can stop it. Once it's on a trajectory, it sees it through. The King of Wands always sees something through. We're almost done. There was a Seven of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. There's a choice of a different path here with the Two of Pentacles. It is breaking ground. It already took root. Ten of Wands, I feel like, is anything that's not this path. Anything that's not this destiny feels like you're doing it alone, even when you're not, and heavier than it was ever intended to be. But in switching this path, son of a biscuit eater, things come into perfect alignment. We have the Two of Cups. Oh, short little arms. I don't know where I stuck the other two cards. I put them back, and I'm like, I don't know if it was in the top or bottom. There's no more holding back. We have the Four of Cups. That proverbial cup from the sky is going to come in. You're going to be willing to take it. And sometimes the cup comes in and we're just like, we know what's before us is not for us, but we're also not willing to take that cup. Somebody's taking the cup and it's leading to the Lovers. Both are choosing this. And that's the beauty of this, is that they're choosing this love. Same as in both of those scenarios, they are choosing this. Okay, that's it. We're not going to go any further. You're going to know if this is for you. You're going to know. If you feel like you have done this on either side, and like you've finally surrendered and said yes, even to something that you're not quite certain what it's going to look like or how it's going to unfold, but you have found peace and understanding and beauty in the choice that's being presented to you, rather than seeing it as control, manipulation, or limitation, then this you'll know if the other side did the same, whoever that may be. So, all right, I hope you have a fantastic, wonderful day, and I will see you at the next read.